I was standing in my own driveway, watching the HOA president zip tie a bright orange tag to my car, my Rolls Royce, like it was a piece of junk left on the curb. She looked right at me and said, "This vehicle is now community property. HOA regulations." For a second, I thought it was a prank. I'd spent 2 years restoring that car. Every bolt, every shine, every memory from my father who taught me how to build something worth respecting. But there she was, clipboard, in hand, wearing that smug smile like she owned the entire street. Neighbors peeked through their blinds. No one said a word, just rain, flashing lights, and one woman drunk on power. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about rules. It was about control. I thought I was restoring a dream car. Turns out I was rebuilding my patience for crazy. But let me start at the beginning. Before we dive in, let me know where you're listening from today. I've always liked things that make sense. Machines do, at least. If something's broken, you find the cause, fix it, and it works again. Simple, honest, predictable. People, not so much, especially when they get a little bit of power and a neighborhood full of people too polite to stand up to them. My name's Ron Walker. 2 years ago, I bought an old beat-up Rolls Royce that most folks would have called a lost cause. But my wife, Pam, she saw the same thing I did. A chance to bring something beautiful back to life. We spent weekends and late nights in that garage. Her handing me wrenches, me swearing under my breath when a bolt snapped, both of us laughing, about how our retirement hobby was slowly turning into a full-time job. We'd wipe the grease off our hands, grab cold lemonade, and dream about the day we'd take it out for a sunrise drive. Just the two of us, windows down, that deep engine purring like new life. It wasn't just a car. It was a memory of my dad teaching me how to rebuild a carburetor, of every moment I'd ever believed patience and effort still meant something. By the time it was done, it gleamed like liquid silver. It wasn't fancy because of what it cost. It was special because it was ours. And then came her, Karen Goodson, the self-appointed queen of Willow Crest, HOA president, rule enforcer, and professional buzzkill. She wasn't elected. She declared herself in charge after the last board retired. And somehow she'd turned a quiet, friendly street into her own personal fiefdom. She fined people for parking too close to the curb, for mismatched flower pots, even for having the wrong shade of beige on their mailboxes. She once wrote up an elderly couple for unsightly recycling bins. It's on recycling day. She strutted around with her clipboard like she was the sheriff, judge, and mayor all rolled into one. And behind that fake smile was something worse, the look of someone who enjoyed having control. I tried to stay out of it. I paid my dues, kept the lawn trimmed, waved politely when she walked by. But the day I rolled that freshly restored Rolls Royce into my driveway, her eyes lit up like she'd found buried treasure. The first time she mentioned it, she said it with a grin. "Beautiful car, Ron. You know, technically, vehicles parked in shared drives are considered part of community property under Section 14B. I laughed it off. "Karen, it's parked in my garage." She just smirked and walked off. A few days later, Pam found a note taped to the garage door. "Unauthorized vehicle modification, pending review." That's when we realized she wasn't joking. Then came the big day, Saturday morning. Sun barely up, coffee still warm in my hand, and there she was in the driveway, clipboard, phone, and 2 men in reflective vests. Pam started recording before I even stepped outside. "Karen, what the hell are you doing?" She turned like she'd been waiting for the moment. "Mr. Walker, this vehicle is now under community review. HOA regulations state that unregistered luxury vehicles can be considered community assets if they affect neighborhood value." I blinked. "Community assets? Karen, it's my car. It's literally titled in my name." She smirked. "My status grants ownership oversight. You should have read the fine print." And before I could say a word, she zip-tied a bright orange tag, "Community property, do not move," right to the hood ornament. It was one of those moments where your brain short-circuits trying to understand the level of stupid you're witnessing. I wasn't angry yet. I was stunned. Pam whispered, "Keep the camera on her." And that's when I felt it. That quiet, cold kind of anger that doesn't shout. The kind that plans. This wasn't about a car anymore. It was about principle. The next few days, I went into documentation mode. Photos, videos, timestamps, every threat, every notice. Sure enough, the fines started showing up. Improper use of private property. Non-compliance with HOA inspection. She even mailed me a letter giving me 48 hours to surrender the vehicle to HOA custody for evaluation. I didn't even know that was a sentence a sane human could write. Pam and I installed new cameras. Driveway, garage, even a small one in the front flower bed. By Sunday night, I had everything set. Monday was the deadline. I knew she wouldn't back down. Karen Goodson lived for attention, and I was about to give her a spotlight big enough for the whole neighborhood to see. Monday morning came in gray and heavy with rain. At 6:47 a.m., I heard the low growl of a diesel engine. Through the blinds, a tow truck, and right behind it, Karen, umbrella in one hand, clipboard in the other, strutting like she was walking a red carpet. I hit record, she motioned, to the driver, yelling something about non-compliant property seizure. The guy looked confused, glancing between her and me. I stepped outside slowly, rain hitting my jacket, voice calm. "Morning, fellas. Can I help you?" Karen snapped. "You can step aside, Mr. Walker. This is official HOA business." The tow driver frowned. "Ma'am, I need to see paperwork." She waved a crumpled printout. Nothing official looking at all, just some HOA nonsense with her signature scrawled at the bottom. The man studied it for a second, then looked at me. "Sir, this isn't from law enforcement, is it?" I smiled slightly. "No, it's not, but I do have something official." I pulled out my phone and played back the footage, her zip-tying the tag, her claiming ownership, her status grants ownership line. The driver's jaw dropped. He stepped back, hands up. "Yeah, no, I'm not touching that car." Karen's face twisted, her voice rising. "You're refusing an HOA directive?" He shook his head. "Lady, I'm refusing to get sued." The neighbors started coming out, phones recording, whispers spreading. Rain pouring harder now, her hair plastered to her face, mascara running. She screamed, "This is community property. I'm the president." And that's when Pam, standing by the garage, said calmly, "Not anymore. You've been reported to the state HOA board. Effective yesterday, you're suspended pending investigation." Karen froze. Her umbrella slipped. The clipboard hit the driveway with a wet slap. The tow truck drove off, and there she stood. Drenched, shaking, surrounded by the very people she'd spent years bullying, finally realizing that her little kingdom had just collapsed. By the end of the week, the HOA had been audited. Turns out she'd been writing fake fines and pocketing the money. The state removed her from the board. The neighborhood finally exhaled. As for me, the Rolls still shines in my driveway. I still take it out on Sunday mornings, the same dream Pam and I had from the start. Every time I start the engine, I can't help but smile, not just because it runs smooth, but because it reminds me that some things, like patience and proof, still mean something. Karen Goodson wanted control. What she got was a lesson in consequences. I thought I was restoring a dream car. Turns out, I was rebuilding my patience for crazy.